They want you out, folks. They want you out so bad. But you know what? We're not leaving. We are not leaving. Well, at least yet. Maybe we'll leave when the price of XRP gets a lot higher now. We'll think about that. Check this out, though. Former Ripple head. I don't know how many of you were actually around when Dilla Rowell, he worked at Ripple. Smart man, used to do a lot of the conferences and events. He was around, I think, like 2017, 2020-ish. Could be wrong with time frame, but it doesn't matter. He came out and he said that retail was never the primary use case for XRP. The real turning point, according to him, comes when institutions drive adoption. So if retail was never the primary use case, they don't want retail holding the asset, because why would Ripple, the company, want retail holding an asset where they want nothing to do with retail? They're only focused on institutional adoption. Riddle me that. They wouldn't. They don't want us holding this thing. So what do? Well, we suppress the price. We manipulate the price. Guys, let's be honest. The crypto market's been moving sideways for a while now. A lot of people just sitting on their coins, waiting for that next big move. But while you're waiting, your crypto is just sitting in your wallet doing absolutely nothing. So I want to mention one of my long-term partners, FortisX. And instead of letting your assets sit idle, you can put your supported cryptocurrencies into liquidity pools and earn daily rewards while still keeping the flexibility of withdrawing whenever you want. And one of the reasons I keep working with them, they just keep delivering. The team's public. They completed their Cyberscope KYC. They passed independent security audits, and the platform, it's been building consistently for years. Their focus is long-term growth, transparency, and security rather than hype. In a market like this, it makes sense to make your assets work instead of letting them sit idle. Check out the link down below. How did they do it? So they don't look like the bad guys. It's very simple. Through the market maker. GSR, one of the biggest XRP market makers out there. And everyone knows the story. I spoke to them, I don't know, 3-4 years ago. And I asked the question straight up. I mean, I was on a video call with one of them. I asked him the question. I go, look, be honest with me. Are you manipulating the price of XRP? He said, well, you know, one of those little chuckles. He goes, we don't use the word manipulation. He says, what we do is we set orders, buy and sell on both sides, and we make money based upon where the market is going. He also told me that if they wanted to produce a green candle because an event was going to be announced, like a news event, a story, they can produce a green candle, making it like that piece of news traded the spike. And he says that also traps people because people hear the news, the spike happens before it, people buy the top, and then they flush it lower. But they don't call it manipulation. He calls it, or he said they called it working both sides. And he said at the end of the day, their job as a market maker is to provide liquidity, but that's how they make their revenue. You can't make it up. Go look up market makers. Go start reading on them. Be very interested. Go talk to one. You can talk to them. Go get on a call, email them. GSR, one of the biggest ones out there. Falcon X is another one. I've spoken to them on the phone as well. Interesting now, isn't it? So back to the original comment here by Dilla. XRP was never meant for retail. The primary use case is for institutions. So if they don't want anything to do with retail, they don't want you to have XRP. Why would they? They're not doing anything for you. You holding it just means that we're going to whine and complain like we've been doing for the past 10 years for this being one of the most underperforming assets out there. Comment down below about this. I know this is going to start a nice healthy debate. Remember, if you don't leave a YouTube comment and you don't get a like heart next to it by me, you don't get the YouTube comment. You don't get seen. We're approved users only. Leave a comment. I approved you as a user. Bada beam, bada boom. We got the cleanest YouTube chat out there. How do you like them apples? Clarity Act is coming. This would be super bullish. Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know if there's any other way to put it. It would be super bullish because the Clarity Act would unlock so much money in the United States. So much money. That's what we need. 4 trillion is where we got last bull run. What, 2024 you can call it, even if you want to say 2025, doesn't really matter. That's where we hit, right? A little above 4 trillion. I do believe that was your institutional testing grounds. I believe once the Clarity Act is unlocked, once it's signed into law, that we get the full beast from these institutions. And we're going a lot higher than 4 trillion. And I'm looking at a fat XRP number. I mean, fat. Like it's so fat, it got going slim fast fat. That's what we're talking about. I'm excited for that moment. I'm excited for that day. And it's coming soon. I told you this all starts in 2027, 2028. I do believe the bottom's coming in between September and November. I have yet to see anything that's going to change my opinion on that until that day comes. And if the bottom doesn't hit around then hey, so what? Let it be. We ride. That's why dollar cost average is your best entry. I believe my targets for Bitcoin between 40 and 50. I believe the lowest Bitcoin hit was what? In the 50s? Was it the upper 50s or mid 50s? I don't know. We'll have to go back and look. Big XRP put this out talking about the Clarity Act because we're on the 1 yard line, baby. Listen up.
Or they can go to a vote. Expecting a vote next week, probably early next week. So, and that will really be, that's kind of the test, to see if we've got 60 votes to invoke cloture on the motion. So we're at the, we're at the 10-yard, we're at the 1 yard line right now. And I feel like we can get it across the finish line, or they can go to a vote.
I don't know about y'all, but I like being on the 1 yard line. I know how to punch this thing on through. You give me 4 downs, rip scoring that touchdown. Which brings us to this. This is interesting. Smoke put this out. The current state of crypto adoption by institutions as of June of this year. Let me blow this up for you so you all can see it. You can see, and it listed out going from left to right, crypto trading and custody, private crypto funds, crypto ETPs, which is like your ETFs, they're the exchange traded products, who has crypto enabled payments and tokenization. When we look at the first, the only ones that don't have crypto trading and custody, Bank of America, who very interestingly just announced just like a day or two ago that they are hiring a head of digital assets. Citibank is not on here. MasterCard and Morgan Stanley, Visa and Wells Fargo. So 2 credit card companies, 3 banks, and Bank of America is about to be checked off. Who has, private crypto funds we don't really care about. Let's go to ETPs. Who's missing one? Well, the CME and MasterCard. I don't really know why MasterCard and Visa would ever have an exchange traded product though. So I think those would always be great. So we're only missing one, the CME. Now wait for all of these massive names, folks, to launch products on your favorite asset. I'm not just saying they're going to come out and launch an XRP ETF. There's going to be plenty more. But you know what's the ultimate unlocker here? The Clarity Act. And tokenization. Only a couple are missing from here. Visa and Morgan Stanley. Yep, Visa and Morgan Stanley. JP Morgan Chase, Schwab, the CBOE, and Bank of America. And Chartner, it's like, look at that. Compared to this, and he highlights it, over 79% of those institutions have ties, partnerships, previous ongoing trials/pilots with Ripple, or even exposure to XRP. The ones missing? Well, Fidelity, London Stock Exchange, Interactive Brokers, and Dutchies Boris. Oh, I thought Dutchies Boris was doing something with XRP. The big one that's missing is definitely Fidelity. But just because they have the exposure, I mean, that is big and all, but what we're missing is the revenue driving. We need these companies to launch a product that is going to drive money to their company. Therefore, they will start marketing it, right? BlackRock, if they list an XRP ETF, just say they do a quick little test run on, and they see from the test run through a selective amount of clients that they made $5 million. Well, they can be like, holy crap, if we now open this up to a 5x bigger group, we could be making $25 million. Once these companies actually start making money from what they're offering, their different services, that is what's going to drive a massive amount of demand here. That's what I'm paying attention to. And then don't forget, Brad Garlinghouse, the time is now. After the Clarity Act is signed, a new era for crypto will start. And yes, it will. And it's going to be interesting to see what the IMF and the BIS are going to do, because they're not going to be able to fight this. They're going to have to get in some way, somehow. So it'll be interesting to see what technology they adopt, because they're not going to build their own. Why build your own when you have all these choices out there that already work? Let's listen to Brad himself.
I think what happened 2 weeks ago with the SEC and CFTC coming together with a joint statement was truly groundbreaking in a bunch of ways. And from my point of view, it ended an era of lawfare against this industry, which turns out didn't have the support of what the law actually said. So I think that was profound. But I also think we have to recognize that without codified legislative permanence, you still have the risk that the next version of the SEC comes back to Gensler's unlawful war on crypto. And I think that's bad for the United States. I think it's bad policy. It's also bad politics. And what we've seen certainly as we come up to midterms is, being anti-crypto doesn't get you any votes. There's a lot of people who care about this industry, who are directly or indirectly involved. And, I think that's why, some of the voter education in the last cycle was impactful. So I am still optimistic, the Clarity Act. I think it does still matter despite the CFTC and SEC coming together. I think the time is now. I would say I'm probably not quite as optimistic as I once was, but some of the smartest people and Washington insiders that I know have said to me, when people are at their peak frustration, that's when they finally compromise and it gets done. I think we're there. I think
the new crypto era is going to start soon. Look, I'm telling you right now, we haven't seen anything yet. If you thought those markets were exciting at 2 trillion, at 4 trillion, you thought XRP was exciting at 365, wait until XRP breaks $4 for the first time ever. You want to talk about excitement? You want to talk about a community who is going to light social media up on fire when XRP breaks out of $4? For all the naysayers, the haters, the XRPs as shitcoiners, they're all going to go crawl into their little holes and go back into hiding. We know how this story ends. Now, the story's taking a little longer than we all wanted, right? We all don't want to read 100 pages. We want to read 5 pages. But here we are. And let's not forget about this. T. Rowe Price. This is big. This is a $2 trillion asset manager has added XRP into their ETF. Don't sleep on this. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance, XRP, Solana, Hyperliquid, and some others. This is huge because the more products we get, the more others will follow. The more others will follow, the more products we get. You see what I did there? And that means the more money coming in, the more XRP being bought, the more XRP being scooped up. At some point, we're going to run into the same issue Bitcoin did. Price is going to go through the roof because people can't get a hold of it anymore. Then we're talking about the supply dynamics. I'm here for it. I've been here for the past 10 years. I'm not going anywhere, man. Get ready, lock in, strap in. This bear, it's almost over. And then the bull kicks in. Hit that like and subscribe. I'll see all y'all on the next one.